Okay,
Okay.
all right. Well, good morning. My name is Frederick. I will be just asking a few questions. Well, but first, how are you?
I could be better. I've had a cold.
Really?
Yes,
Are you getting better?
I hope so.
Me too. So, first, what is your full name?
Alex Dennehy.
Okay. Have there been any changes to your name?
No,
Okay. Any aliases?
no, I'm a police officer.
Okay.
Why would I use an alias?
I don't, some people have nicknames. Any nicknames that you may have?
No,
Okay.
I hate nicknames.
Really?
Yes.
I have a few, but I can understand. To each person their own.
Yes.
The next question I have is, what is your current address?
1234 Main Street, Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Okay. How long have you been living there?
20 years.
20 years. Wow. Before that? Then?
Well, I was in college.
Really?
Yes, and I lived in Ypsilanti, but I don't remember
Ypsilanti. Yes,
I don't remember the
headquarters.
address. Yes, I went to Eastern Michigan.
Eastern Michigan University. What did you study while there?
I just told him. I just.
Okay. What did you study there?
Well, criminology,
What was the purpose of your study in criminology?
because I knew I wanted to be a police officer.
Really? How long have you wanted to be a police officer?
Ever since I was a child.
Really?
Yes.
What?
I believe in law and order.
With Law and Order. My mom watches a lot of Law and Order.
They get a lot of stuff wrong, you mentioned.
Like what?
Well, I can't think of anything offhand.
I can understand. Okay. Are you feeling a little pressured or anything?
No,
Okay. All right. No fear or to yourself or the public or anything like that?
no.
Okay. Cool. Where did you go to high school? Well, where did you go to high school?
Yes, Pioneer High School
Where is that?
in Ann Arbor,
In Ann Arbor.
Mhm.
Which state?
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. So, how was the training? You did go to the academy, correct?
Yes,
How was your training?
it was good.
It was good.
Yes.
Well, give me, I've read a little bit about police training, but everyone hasn't heard about police training. What goes on in police training? What do you learn? What goes on?
Well, we learned how to investigate crime scenes. We learned how to use weapons.
Really?
We learn,
What
how
type
to
of weapons?
diffuse certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have, as a police officer, I have a government-issued firearm, and I
Mm.
have a taser, of course.
Really?
Yes.
So, you say you have a firearm and a taser.
Yes.
What type of taser? I mean, I've seen so many.
An X26.
X26. Okay. Could you tell me a little bit about this X26 taser?
Well, it's an effective taser. It works in two different ways.
Mm-hmm.
It can be deployed in prong mode and also in stun mode.
So, what is prong mode?
That's when the suspect is farther away, not close enough to touch,
Mm-hmm.
and you shoot out these little prongs that hit the suspect, and they have a little electric volt.
A little?
Yes.
What is a little? What constitutes a little?
I don't know.
So you say you said you were trained on this, right?
Yes.
Do they not teach exactly how much electricity is going to be conducted from this taser?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
They might have, but I don't remember.
Do you remember?
I know it. I know the shock only lasts 5 seconds.
Only 5 seconds. But 5 seconds of. Have you ever been pinched? Or have you ever been pinched? Or have you ever pinched anybody?
Yes.
Okay. When you.
No, I've never punched anyone.
I can understand. No nicknames, no pinching. I understand.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you recall if you were trained on if it at any point it was mentioned how much electricity is conducted during the 5 seconds that the X26 taser is deployed?
No, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't recall.
So do you find it may be possible that it was taught, but you may not remember?
Yes, it is possible.
Possible?
Mhm.
Do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. can understand. Well, I'm gonna back up a little bit. How long have you been a police officer?
I've been a police officer for 13 years.
Wow, 1 minute. Okay. How long have you worked the traffic stop beat?
For about the past year or so.
Okay. Could you please generally describe the training you received for traffic stop duty?
The training, I don't recall.
You don't recall?
No.
Do you remember if it was trained?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay, but you forgot.
Well,
We
I
don't-
mean, I have one of those speed guns. And if I see someone who's speeding, then I will put on my light. Or if I see someone who's driving in any other way that seems erratic or that they might be driving under the influence, then I will put on my light and I will follow up and pull up the car over.
6 minutes.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey, I definitely thank you so much. I've learned a lot.
Good.
All right. All right. Would you like some water?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. So we'll jump right into it. Could you please describe the event that occurred on the night with Miss Paul?
What event?
The event where you deployed the taser and arrested Matt O'Donnell and Miss Paul. Could you please describe what occurred?
Can you ask a more specific question, please?
Yes. So what? Okay. Do you remember pulling over anybody by the name of Matt O'Donnell on the night of February 21st?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What was the reason for pulling him over?
He was driving erratically. He crossed over the lines several times. It was after midnight on a Saturday night, and I thought he might have been intoxicated.
Mm-hmm. So when you pulled over Matt O'Donnell, could you please describe his actions?
Well, he drove to the side of the road and stopped the car.
Mm-hmm.
And then he waited for me to come and talk to him. Yeah.
And what occurred when you asked him to step out of the car that resulted in you slamming his head against the hood of the car?
What?
Was there any kind of altercation between you and Matt?
Well, he was being a smartass.
Okay. Now, in the training force, when you're trained to be a police officer in similar situations, do you automatically in this situation with Matt get physical? If
Right.
someone's being smart, what would make you draw that line between whether I should get physical with Matt or whether I shouldn't?
Well, the most important thing that an officer does at a
Mhm.
crime scene or a suspected crime scene is to maintain control of the scene.
Okay.
And so I do what I have to make sure
Okay.
I'm in control.
So would you say that the situation was getting out of control where you felt the need to get physical with Matt?
Well, he was not doing what I asked him to do. I asked him to take a breathalyzer and he refused to.
Okay, and does Matt have every right to refuse to take a breathalyzer test?
No. I mean, yes, he has a right to refuse, but that's an automatic grounds for arrest under Michigan law.
Okay, but why use the force that you've used as far as getting physical with him and just putting his body on the hood of the car?
Well, I wanted to make sure that he was, okay, when you arrest a suspect,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have control, physical
Mhm.
control.
Okay,
And part of the arrest is to frisk the suspect
okay,
and to make sure that the suspect doesn't have any weapons. So that's what I was doing,
so you were frisking the suspect?
yes.
Correct. Okay, so let's move on to Christine Paul. Could you describe her actions during the time you were making the arrest of Matt? What was she doing?
Well, she was sitting in the car, in the passenger seat. And then she got out and started yelling.
Okay. Did she pose any threat to you or anybody around the area?
Should I answer that question?
I object to the form of the question.
When Miss Paul got out of the car, when you were making the arrest to Matt, did she pose a threat to you?
I still
Tom.
object to the form of that question. Are you asking the witness's opinion?
Yes, what her mental state of mind was.
Yes, I believe that Ms. Paul was, posed a threat.
Okay.
She was she was yelling loudly,
Okay.
and she was putting her hand into her pocket. I thought she might have a weapon.
Okay. So when she reached into her pocket and you thought she might have a weapon, what type of weapon specifically?
Well, I didn't know, of course.
Okay. So why take the measures of using a taser and
Oh, there's one thing I need to explain. In Michigan, it's legal to carry a concealed weapon if you have a license.
okay.
I mean, a gun. And so it could have been a gun. And that's
Okay,
what I was
then
afraid that it
why
was.
use the intermediate force?
What?
Why use the intermediate force as far as tasing Miss Paul? If you suspected that Miss Paul was reaching for a gun,
You mean, why didn't I just shoot her?
why not use lethal force? Correct.
Well, I try to use the least amount of force possible to maintain control of the situation.
Okay. Okay. And did you call for backup?
No,
Why did you not call for backup?
I didn't have time. It all happened very fast.
Okay. That is all my questions for today.
Good job. Morning.
Martin,
How are you feeling?
okay?
Is working a traffic beat a stressful job in general?
It's kind of stressful because it's lonely. You're out on a dark highway and you never know when, something's gonna happen.
Do you ever work in partners when you're on the traffic beat?
No,
No.
we can't afford it. Budget cuts.
Has that budget cuts, has that resulted in any more cuts to any other things in the department?
Objection, irrelevant. You've
Uh,
answered.
Okay. Well, we haven't hired as many officers as I wish we had.
Okay. Have there been cuts to the actual police force?
Fewer hires.
Okay.
They haven't laid people off.
And how many hours had you been working by midnight when you pulled Matt O'Donnell over?
I've been working around 3 hours, no, I'm sorry, I've been working around 6 hours. The
6
shift
hours
starts
by
at
then.
6 p.m.
Okay. Do you like that night shift? Is it an overnight shift?
6 p.m. to 2 a.m.
To 2 a.m. Okay.
Well, I'd rather go out on Saturday night than work on Saturday night, but, that's when they're the most drunk drivers out,
Okay.
on Saturday nights.
Okay. And is that typically what you see at the traffic beat, pulling over
Yes.
drunk drivers? Okay.
Michigan, Ann Arbor is a college town, you may know.
So that 6 p.m. to 2 a.m., that's a typical shift for you.
Yes, it is, yes.
And how many days in a row leading up to that night had you worked that shift?
Actually, I had worked a full week already. I was in, I'm sorry. I can't remember.
Do you remember being tired?
A little tired, but we have some good coffee shops in Ann Arbor, so got some coffee before my shift.
Mm-hmm. If you'd been well rested, if maybe it would have been your first day of that week, do you think maybe your
Objection,
reaction would have
speculation.
been different?
Go ahead and answer.
No,
Okay. Do you think it would have been a different reaction if the event had occurred during the daytime?
Well, maybe, because if it was during the daytime, it would have been light out and there would have been a lot more traffic.
So more people around.
More people around, not as dangerous a situation,
Mhm.
at least for me.
For your person, yeah. Okay. Had you been drinking that night?
No, I never drink when I'm on duty.
Had you been taking any drugs that
No.
night? Are you on any type of medication?
No,
Were you on any type of medication that night?
Go ahead and answer.
no,
Okay. Had you ever seen Mr. O'Donnell or Ms. Paul before that night?
no,
Okay. Have you ever had any kind of disciplinary action against you? Either in the police force or in a former job?
Objection as for relevance to a former job. You may answer as to your current job.
okay, no,
Have there ever been any complaints filed against you for this job or your former job?
Objection again to the former job. Go ahead, continue.
I don't know. Not enough, not any that I know of.
Okay.
But, you know, people can be really sensitive sometimes.
Mhm. Have you ever gotten into any fights? Are you like a bar brawler when you do go out on Saturday night?
Do I look like a bar brawler?
You never know. It's always the quiet ones.
Please answer the questions.
No.
No. Okay. Have you ever been accused of a misdemeanor or a felony at any point in your life?
Go ahead and answer.
Oh, no,
No. Okay. Have you ever been convicted of any kind of crime?
no,
Have you ever felt that a suspect was being disrespectful because of your gender?
Objection to relevance, but you may answer.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you describe an instance of that happening?
You really have to answer that?
Yes.
Well, I thought Matt O'Donnell was pretty disrespectful to me.
Okay.
Maybe my gender had something to do with it.
Okay. What made you think that? What in his actions or in his demeanor made you think that it had to do with your
Everything
gender?
about him was disrespectful from the minute I started talking to him.
Okay. Specific to your gender or just in general because you were a
No,
police
just in
officer?
general.
Okay. And in what situations do you feel you've been treated differently than your male colleagues?
Objection to relevance, but you may answer.
Well, you know, it's kind of a fraternity, well, not fraternity, but it's kind of
Boys'
a
club.
boys' club. Yeah, you know, so it's always a little harder to be one of the, there are not very many women in the department.
Has it been more difficult for you to attain higher places or get promotions?
Objection again to relevance, but you may answer.
I
Actually,
haven't,
objection calls for the witness to speculate as well.
who knows?
What did you want to ask?
All
And
right,
that's my time, I believe.
okay. So I'll just turn this off for a minute.